Hey, SamMeeBee here. Today's Wednesday, September 20th. Got my co-host Danny Stone. We're going to talk Week 3 matchups. As you can find us every Wednesday around this time, 8:30. We'll go live, talk our matchups. So without further ado, writer from Churchill Times, Danny Stone. Hey, Dan, how's it going today?
Hey, good. And we'll try to do Monday, Wednesday, but some days we might mix it up, mix and match. We're real people living real lives, talking real sports. So we'll keep it as best we can. But thanks for the introduction. Real quick, I'm not wearing any Rams gear, but I want to try to break out some Rams merch here and there. Got this little Matthew Stafford football
Look
card
at
for all you
that.
little fans here. Yeah.
Speaking of speaking of
Buddy mine.
cards, I have this on my desk. I have Cam Akers. We're going to talk about him later. Rookie hologram card.
Oh,
I bought it.
all right.
Number 39 of 199. So I'm not much of a card
Wow.
collector. I do have a lot of cards. It's expensive. So I went and bought that his rookie season. And then I was upset he
Sure.
changed his number. And I got a Panini rookie.
Cool.
And it's unplanned. I didn't know you were going to do that to me, Danny Stone. I guess I'm glad I was ready to go there.
Yeah, no,
And I got
I just kind of had the idea.
my little Rams helmet
Very cool. I'll
with a
let's get
shark.
into the Cam Akers thing. Ooh, you've got some cool. I gotta up my merch game. I gotta up my
No, I
clothes.
see.
I gotta get more Ram
I
stuff.
see your room's painted now, so you're
We're working
updating some
on it.
stuff. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
project my roommates and I are working
No,
on.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, you
You're
taught
good.
Cam Akers got traded today. So how's that going? What do you know about it?
Well, I probably know what everybody else knows. I'll throw this out there. Gonna pump my. We've got a random ransom coming out tomorrow morning. It'll be there all day on the Turf Show Times. I'm just kind of asking fans what they'll remember about Cam Akers. It's very brief, very short, not very long. And I'll spoiler. I'll tell you for me, I remember him, and I just watched the highlight. He converts on a 2nd and 2 in the Super Bowl with about 2 minutes left to go in the game, and he gets the Rams at 1st and goal. And from there, the rest is history. They keep throwing to Cup in the end zone more or less, and
Yeah.
eventually they finally convert and end up winning the game. So I would guess Cam Akers' time in LA didn't quite go the way that maybe he wanted it or the way the Rams wanted it. But hey, they got the ring. I'm appreciative for the dude, and I do wish him all the best out in Miami. And who knows, maybe he'll be Miami in Minnesota, and who knows, maybe he'll be a good fantasy asset. So as far as what I know, apparently we are swapping 2024 6th and 7th round picks, conditional picks.
I don't like
You
that.
know,
Don't like that.
no, I mean the Rams really. I mean, it was either they do that or they cut him, right? Like I have to think that was the best, more or less the best offer they got. Maybe there was a little bit of, hey Cam, what do you want to do? And he's like, I'll go work with Kevin O'Connell again. That's
Yeah,
fine.
former
So
OC.
yeah, OC for the Rams in that Super Bowl run, and obviously head coach for the Vikings right now. Yeah, I mean it's bittersweet. I guess I don't know. Good for him, but I
Yeah.
thought he was really going to be a big featured part of their offense each year after they drafted him, other than the Achilles year. Even though he came back that same year, which is
Yeah.
incredible. I don't know.
Cam the Ram, right? I
Yeah,
like that nickname. And
right.
I
And there's an old video with him and Eric Dickerson where he even calls him Cam the Ram. So
yeah,
best of luck, Cam. Thanks for everything, Mr. Akers.
I liked him. I said I went out and bought his rookie card. It's not
Yep.
one. I'm not one to go out and buy cards. So I bought that his rookie season, and when I heard he was changing his number, I'm like, come on. So,
Yeah.
but you didn't do because of the whole you have to buy out your jerseys before you can change your numbers. So that's
Right.
why he wanted to be number 3. He couldn't, and then when Odell joined the team, Odell wore number 3. So
Yep.
that's funny.
And
I know.
now Cam wears 3, or he was.
I don't think trades are as common during the season in football like the other sports. I mean, we talked as Rams fans, Van Jefferson. I mean, any other trades coming up? Anything in the rumor mill?
I don't mind having Van Jefferson as a 4th receiver. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to see him commanding much more than what Cam Akers got, if anything. So I would say roll with it. I'm fine having Van. He'll have some games. I think it just kind of looks bad for Van right now. I think because Puka Nacua is a rookie, just crushing it right now. Tutu Atwell's doing great things as well.
Oh yeah.
And so it just kind of Van looks a little lost in that offense right now, which I don't know that that's fair to say, but that's I think what the perception is.
No, yeah, and I know we did a recap video on Monday, but I do want to show us how we did for week 2. We both finished 11-5, so we both were even. I'm still 2 games behind because week 1 you beat me, and we had 8 picks we agreed on, and we went 7-1 on those. So if you listen to us and the picks we agree on overall, we're 13-3 this year. So
Okay.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know as we're watching the games with you, I started off hot between Thursday and the 1 o'clock games. I started off 7-2.
Yep.
I fell apart with the 4 p.m. and then Monday I had Cleveland. That was an ugly game. I had to turn it off. I did not like watching that game.
Ugly injury, obviously, that took
Yeah.
place, and unfortunate for Nick Chubb. I mean, on a human level, obviously, and selfishly on a fantasy level, but first and foremost for him on a human level. And I'm sure he
Mm-hmm.
just wants to be out there playing. So I wish him all the best. I think we all do. And yeah, it was an ugly game, but I don't mean to be disrespectful whatsoever. But I said the week prior, like, the Browns are going to lose this game. It's what they do, and they
Yeah.
did.
And then I know we talked on Monday, and you're right, they did lose it. The typical Browns. It's because of those new uniforms. Our preseason, one of our early videos before the season, we talked about our favorite jerseys, the new ones unveiled, and I said my least favorite was the Browns. So they're
Okay.
not allowed to win in those uniforms, those all whites. I think they're stupid.
And for
Um,
any of our fans, well, I think the jersey thing's interesting. There could be some correlation there. You never know. It's that stuff is interesting as far as when there's weird streaks, like, oh, they win every time they're at home wearing this jersey, or they lose or whatever. That stuff is interesting. But you know, we'll see. We'll talk about the Browns when we get to our matchups here.
yeah.
Some things in the NFL don't change, Sammy B. The
No,
Jets have bad luck. The Browns win big time, lose big time games. Some things don't change. We'll talk about it.
yeah, I see a couple people in the chat. The Cowboys are looking good, so shout out Naturally Neat Nature. Got some cool videos and Creative War. Yeah, we're looking pretty good so far.
Oh, heck
Um,
yeah.
and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Danny Stone. Looking at week 3, this is probably gonna be the toughest ones. I have some picks that I don't feel comfortable with, and there's about 4 games I can see going either way. So,
Well, absolutely. I mean, and we start off with such a close matchup here Thursday night. I mean, this game could go either way. Both of these teams have looked great to start the season. And I really don't know between the New York Football Giants and the San Francisco 49ers who's going to come out on top. But I'm going to take a stand. I'm going to take a hot take. I'm going to pick the San Francisco 49ers.
yeah, I think the Niners are looking great. As a Rams fan, I cannot stand the Niners, but I have to admit what Brock Purdy is doing is just simply amazing. How is a Mr. Relevant, last pick of the draft, take over a team and just look so like a pro, like a 3, 4, 5 year pro. So, the Giants they're without Barkley, so they look terrible against the
They
Cardinals.
look
Yeah,
terrible.
I'm taking the Niners.
I was being totally sarcastic, which
I
for our they are the Giants. I think are a bottom 5 team in the NFL. And I'll throw. I want to say this, and I feel like I say this every week. It's not a matter of like all of these rosters are incredibly talented,
mm,
but there's different coaching staffs, and on top of that, there's history, which we'll talk a little bit about losing history with some of these teams. I wouldn't say the New York Football Giants have a losing history, but I will say absolutely. I expect the Niners to beat them down tomorrow.
No, I mean it's funny talking history. That goes into the next game. I think Zach
Yep.
Taylor's 0-4 against Bill Belichick.
Yep.
I think they have a great defense. I know we're not looking at the spread. I can see the
You mean Zach
Jets.
Wilson? I got
Zach
you.
Wilson, sorry, what did I
Yep.
say?
Zach
Yeah.
Taylor, I think.
Oh, well, yes, I'm taking the Patriots on this one. I think the Jets will keep it close. I think they have good defense, but I think Bill Belichick, he's a good creative mind. I'm taking the Patriots.
I'm taking New England as well. I don't even think it's going to be a game. Like maybe the Patriots offense takes a little bit to get cooking. Maybe Mac Jones is terrible, but I don't think so. I expect the Patriots defense and the Patriots overall to absolutely crush the Jets.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So this next game, I know you said the Broncos. You think are the worst team this season. I kind of feel it's a trap game because the Dolphins are only a 6-point favorite. Which, again, if you're taking the numbers, I'm avoiding this game, but I am taking the Dolphins. I think it's be closer than people are expecting it to be.
No, I will take the Miami Dolphins. This will be our first disagreement. I do not. I amend it. I don't think the Denver Broncos are the worst team in the league. The Bears are probably the worst team in the league.
No,
But the
I am taking the
Broncos are.
Dolphins.
I mean, who knows? I guess you got to give them credit. They did get the Hail Mary. They just didn't get So they had a big lead. They just blew it. I can't explain it.
No, I said I am going to take the Dolphins. What I was saying is I think it's going to be closer than people think. like on paper you think the Dolphins might win by a couple scores, but I think the Broncos will keep it interesting. But I'm taking the Dolphins here.
Oh, you are okay.
Yeah,
Smart man.
sorry. Yeah,
No,
like I
you're
said,
good.
we're not looking at the spreads, but I said it's weird. It's only 6 points, so
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Vegas knows something. They're trying to trap you.
Well, Jalen Waddle could be hurt, so you figure it'll be Patrick Surtain covering Tyreek Hill.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not saying anything that we don't already all know. So, I mean, maybe it'll be a little bit closer. Denver doesn't have a bad defense. I don't think they have a bad offense. It's just they have bad luck. I can't explain it. It's bizarre. Bad juju.
Yeah, but before we go to the next game, I wanted to mention shout out Corn Doggy for these doodles. Our plan here at Gem Cities, we're gonna rotate out the logos every 3 weeks. So this is week 3. So next week you'll see some new logos. Um, kind of spacing out the ones I like. So weeks 4 through 6, all some cool ones. But one of my favorite ones will be found in week 7. So make sure you stay tuned.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to it myself, even though I think I've seen it. I'm looking forward to it.
Nah, there's a couple. You've seen these ones. You haven't seen the other ones yet.
Okay. All right, big boy.
All right. So we'll keep on going with the 1 o'clock games. There's a lot of 1 o'clock games this week. We have the Colts going to Baltimore. What are you feeling here?
I am going to take the Baltimore. You know what? I'm taking the Colts.
What? You taking the
I'm
Colts?
taking the Colts.
All right. That's our. I'm going to have to write that down. That's
Yep.
my. I'm taking Baltimore.
Okay.
You're taking Gardner Minshew.
I
You
am.
believe in him?
Is it official? Is Richardson out?
I thought he was missing at least 2 weeks.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So does that change your mind? I guess what do you
It
like? You like
does.
Zach Moss? He played. What makes you take the Colts?
I think the Ravens are 2-0 and they're due for a loss.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Lamar Jackson's a little bit wounded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're missing Odell, I think, right?
I think
So
the
they're
Colts
wondering-
actually are a lot. They are missing Odell.
Mhm.
I think. Well, I've heard it's minor, so we'll see.
Yeah.
They don't. They're trying to figure out their running back situation, sort of. I actually think the Colts are better than I thought they were, and I think Gardner Minshew is a serviceable quarterback. I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts. I'm a little hesitant without Anthony Richardson, but I'm going to do it.
No, I do like Gardner Minshew, Minshew Mania. I've liked him since his time in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Played a little bit in Philly last year, so I respect
What's
him.
the
But
spread?
so you're sticking with Indy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. That's our first disagreement. We're not gonna agree on all of them.
What's the spread? Or I guess if you don't know, you don't know.
I can pull it up. And I think with this next game, I have a feeling we're gonna disagree on. I'm going with the Vikings here. The Chargers going to Minnesota. Reason being, Minnesota played Thursday night, so they had a few extra days of rest. I know it's not much to go off of, and Chargers missing Eckler. He was the number 2 fantasy running back going into the season. So, and the Chargers are just not looking good. Well, what are your takes on this game here?
I'm going to take the Vikings, Minnesota
Oh,
Vikings.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I wasn't sure.
Yep.
And I think Kirk Cousins is I'm not sure if he is the passing leader, but he's definitely up there in top 3 for passing yards. And the Chargers are the worst passing defense. So just adding all that together, takes me on to him. Colts are not a sponsor. I'm looking at FanDuel. 7.5 point underdog. The Colts are.
Wow, Vegas must know something I don't. I was thinking 3, maybe 3.5. Wow. Okay, so then maybe the Ravens are better than I think. I'm going to stick with the Colts. But we'll find out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's why with me, when I saw the Broncos going, this is Miami's first home game. I don't want to go back that far, but I'm like sometimes the spread makes me question it. So we're in agreement there. All right, this is another fun one. C.J. Stroud going to Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Stroud looked pretty good last week. We did throw the ball a lot. I think this game, Jacksonville's a 9.5 point favorite. And he scored 9 points last week, so. Kind of interesting seeing a spread that big, but I'm going to stick with the home team. I think. Yeah, taking the experience.
I agree. I'm also going to take Jacksonville at home. I think the Houston Texans. I think they're going to come around, but not yet. Taking the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they're doing down there. They have some good talent. So, taking Jacksonville. I like Trevor Lawrence. I
like the head coach, D'Amico Ryan. I mean, he was just 49ers defensive coordinator for a little bit. I don't know. I like him.
Fantasy-wise, what's going on with the receivers? Is it going to be like alternating weeks? 1 week Ridley, 1 week Christian Kirk?
I believe that Kansas City's defense actually is pretty good now that Chris Jones is back. And I don't think it was bad without Chris Jones, but it's probably better. And I also think that Trevor Lawrence, and we may have talked about this, he's a professional quarterback. He's going to find the open man. I'm not saying Ridley won't get his, but I think he's going to like Matthew Stafford has that lock-in syndrome where next thing you
Mhm.
know, Puka Nakua is getting 20 targets a game. I think Trevor Lawrence is a bit more of a spread the ball around kind of guy.
Yeah, and he's definitely looked better every year. So
Mhm.
I like it. So, this next game, Tennessee going to Cleveland. This should be an interesting one. Interesting one. Sad to see Chubb gone, but Cleveland signed Kareem
Kareem.
Hunt.
Yep.
Well, I'm not expecting him to play this week, but who you got in this one?
I will take the Cleveland Browns.
Really?
Yes.
And they're actually the favorite right now. I think it's 3.5. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. After watching the game, I had to turn it off. I thought it was just too ugly, and I'm like, I just don't trust in Deshaun Watson. So I'm going with the other team. I'm going with Tennessee. I like Mike Vrabel as an underdog.
Heard. Okay. I think that's a good pick. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I might actually end up regretting it because the Browns might be bad, but I don't trust Ryan Tannehill right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They haven't looked very good. I mean, week 1 they had no touchdowns. Week 2 they gave up a lot to San Diego or Los Angeles. It's just I don't know.
Not that Deshaun Watson's looked like a world beater either. He looked kind of bad last week, but he's
And
mobile. He can run. I don't know.
I haven't checked the full injury report, but I know Monday night originally Amari Cooper was probably going to miss. I know he did play, so I don't know besides Chubb what all they're missing, but I don't know. I got to make a stand here. I'm taking Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
This next one almost feels like a trap game. We got Buffalo going to Washington, and I think this is Washington's first home game. What do you got here?
Buffalo Bills. It's not really hard for me.
The reason I thought it was a trap game, their Bills only favored by 6.5. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of close.
That's a lot of points in the NFL, though.
Yeah, it is close. I'm taking Buffalo too.
I mean, a double-digit spread in the NFL is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. And the Chargers, and I hate jumping back, the Chargers are a 1.5 point favorite. Because I mentioned the start of the show. I know the start of the show is probably 4 games that are just toss-ups because they're so close. Like this next one, we'll get into the Saints going to Green Bay. Green Bay's favored by 1.5. So it's just such a good matchup. Who do you got in this Saints? Packers?
It's funny that you say like some of these are a toss-up because right now, like I feel really good about my picks. But talk to me Sunday afternoon after I'm wrong, and I'm just like, but going into it, I feel great. I'm actually going to take the Green Bay Packers. I think they hand the New Orleans Saints their first loss.
No, it's funny because going back to exactly what you said is how I felt before we started recording. Week 1 and week 2, I felt great about my picks. Like, hey, I'm not going to go 60 and all. I think I can, though. This week, I'm like, I made my picks. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. There's like 4 I keep looking at.
The next one's a good one, but
that is a good one. Yeah, this
tease.
one.
Who you got for Green Bay, New Orleans?
So sometimes I like to look where the money's going, and I know Thursday not all the bets are in right now, but the money's coming in on the Packers. So I don't know if Aaron Jones is playing. I think if he's not playing, I'd
that's
take
what
the
I wanted
Saints.
to ask you.
But the money's coming on the Packers, and I don't like looking at that for every game, but for some of these close ones, so I'm taking the Packers as well to beat the Saints.
I have Christian Watson in fantasy, and he's missed the first couple weeks. He had like 10 touchdowns last year. I'm not saying he'll have 10 touchdowns this year, but if he comes back, that should open up the offense a little bit more. Should.
Yeah, and like I said, sometimes it's got to follow the money. So that's something Green Bay and should be interesting.
Saints have a pretty good defense.
Yeah, and you talked about this next one. This next one is a lot. Falcons going to Detroit. Detroit a 3.5 point favorite. Who do you like here?
Get out of here. I'm going to go with the.
Sometimes I like you going first because I want to hear if we disagree or not. Because I already know who I'm thinking.
You're taking the Falcons. I know.
I am taking the Falcons. I like Bijan. And I don't know. I think the Lions can win this one, but I'm like, sometimes you got to go against the grain, right? And similar thing, I think the money's coming in on the Falcons right now. I think they're looking pretty good. I know they barely beat Green Bay, but I think they're going to – Desmond Ridder needs to have a show-out game, especially on the road, so I'm excited to see what he does here.
I mean, Atlanta found a way to win. Did you end up taking the Saints, right?
I took Green Bay.
You did take Green Bay. Okay. So we're in agreement there. All right. So we agree for most of these except for 2 so far.
Yep, that's all right.
I don't want to let that impact my decision.
Yeah, we're allowed to agree.
You know what? The Lions have had some injuries. This kills me. I think you're right, and I have to take the Falcons. I don't want to, though.
Mate, you're free to take whoever you want, man.
I know. You know who Bijan Robinson reminds me of?
Who's that?
Todd
Gosh,
Gurley,
Todd
like in
Gurley.
his prime.
Yeah, and Gurley did play
I could
for
be
Atlanta.
wrong, and maybe I'm foolish. I just saw him have this play where like because Todd Gurley was that way where it was like if he just had half a yard or just a crease, he could just go. And
Hmm.
I feel like that's kind of what I'm seeing from Bijan.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
mean, I'm not
see.
sure. I'm not saying it's going to impact this, but I think it's pretty cool. There's three teams in the NFC South. They're all 2-0 with the Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers. So it's like the Falcons know that hey, we got to keep winning to try to step up in the division. Because
Right.
I thought the Saints would run away with it, but now you have three teams 2-0. It's pretty interesting to see. So.
Man, it's tough because the Lions just come off that brutal loss. I think they have a good defense. They should be able to give Desmond Ritter a hard time. Atlanta has a
Mhm.
good defense, but Jared Goff has some playmakers around him, so he can navigate it. Boy, that is such a toss up to me. I am going to go with the Atlanta Falcons.
I know every team has injuries, so it's not a good excuse. But I think the Lions missing Montgomery, and I think their cornerback is out now too. So
They lost one
we'll
of their
see.
CJ Gardner Johnson, Montgomery's hurt, and then Taylor Decker, their left tackle, I think, is hurt or right tackle, and that's a problem.
Hmm.
I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons, but I'll tell you what, if the Lions win, I'll be like, heck yeah, because I have other interests in the Lions winning. So
And I have interest in the Falcons winning.
yep.
Which moves over to the next game. CJ Stroud, or not CJ Stroud, Bryce Young with the Panthers going on to the Geno Smith led Seahawks. I'm not even going to question this. Bryce Young's not looking good. I'm taking Seattle.
He really doesn't look good yet, but I'm willing to give him some time. It's not like he has a number one bona fide receiver to throw to.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Thielen is a little long on the tooth at this point. I am also going to take the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep, Seattle 6-point favorite, which is kind of interesting. It's all around 6. This is the first 4 o'clock game here on our board.
Yep.
Next one, Dallas 12-point favorite going to Arizona. I
And
mean,
that's a
yep,
big deal. A double digit spread in the NFL, like this isn't college. That's a big deal.
yeah, and I mean I'm taking Dallas to win, but I don't know if they're gonna cover 12 points. But we're just going by money line straight up. So I'm taking Dallas to win.
I am also going to take the Dallas Cowboys, and I'd like to say this, and I don't know if we want to turn this into a short or if this would get Cowboys Nation going, but like looking at it, they beat the New York Football Giants, they beat the New York Jets without Aaron Rodgers. Now they're going to play the Arizona Cardinals. Like, and there's already talk about them
Mm-hmm.
going to the Super Bowl. It's like they haven't even played like a real team yet, in my opinion. It's just the Cowboys hype train is every year, and it's just so tiring at this point. Like we're going to the Super Bowl. It's like you're playing the three arguably maybe worst teams in the NFL right now. I shouldn't say that about the Jets, but honestly, without Aaron Rodgers, like they're bad. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, those two teams identify as New York teams, but they play in New Jersey. But
Yeah,
it should be interesting to
which is
see.
funny.
So I mean, the Cowboys defense is looking pretty good.
It does look good,
I think Micah Parsons is the current front runner for Defensive Player of the Year.
and he's incredible. He really is.
I know some of our live viewers are Cowboys fans, and they're gonna give us some thumb down here. So we're losing. We're gonna get some bad numbers.
Well,
All
we'll
right.
see. I don't want to upset our precious Cowboys fans. We have so many Cowboys fans.
How about them boys? We need a little soundboard. But how about them
How
Cowboys?
about them
Something.
boys? I love it.
Of course, I want the soundboard. So when you give me a pick I don't like, I'm like, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Oh man. So
I do like that.
speaking of 12.5-point favorite, we're going to the next game. We have the Chicago Bears going to Kansas City. Kansas City, the last 3 years are not a good cover team. So I'm taking the Chiefs, but I don't think they're going to win by 12 or more.
I could see that. I think the Bears are maybe the worst team in the NFL. And for
I
all
mean,
of our viewers out there, I apologize. My dog just continues to go everywhere. Our dog, I should say, everywhere that she shouldn't go. So I have to keep her safe. She's trying to chew on cords. She's just being really fun right now. Yeah, I know. You want out of
hopefully
the
she
room.
takes a new room. Like I said, you painted it. It looks beautiful.
We did.
Good job.
Here, you tell me who you got. You're picking Kansas City. I'm going to pick Kansas City as well. I think the Bears are really bad. They're about to fire a bunch of their coaching staff, I'm pretty sure. We'll go to what's the next one? Raiders, Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget real quick on this last game, the Bears were the worst team last year.
And I
You're
am still here. No,
still
they
here.
were the worst team. I thought they made real improvements, but I guess not.
Yeah, so I mean, they're the worst team. I mean, they traded out. Maybe I thought they traded out, so it's like, hey, we weren't the worst team. We don't have the first overall pick. So, all right, you still there, audio, right? We just lost you visually.
Yeah, I just let the dog out of the room. I just didn't want you all seeing my sweatpants.
That's all. It's gray sweatpants season, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, you want to talk about the next game, which is kind of weird. We have two Monday night games. So now we're already on the Sunday night game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Vegas. All right, so this one I read up on a lot of things. It's just like you look at not power rankings, player rankings. My friend showed me an article. One of the offensive linemen for the Steelers had a 3.5 rating out of 100.
Whoa.
Yeah, they don't look good.
No.
Vegas doesn't look good. Josh
I'm taking
Jacobs.
Vegas.
I'm taking Pittsburgh. So we have third
Heard.
disagreement. I know I don't feel this is one I don't feel comfortable with at all, but it's just Josh Jacobs finished with -1 rushing yards. I think Pittsburgh's defense is pretty good. Vegas defense is terrible. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say what I like better. This one I had a hard time picking a team. I almost had to flip a coin, but the reason why I took Pittsburgh, the money's coming in on Pittsburgh right now, which is surprising. I know Oakland is the favorite by
It's a tough
1.5.
defense. Like they're really hard on kneecaps for sure. So I do hear what you're saying about the Steelers. I think the Steelers actually have a better defense than the Raiders. I think the Raiders win because I think right now Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so it's a third disagreement. I might let you go first on this one because I might take the opposite of what you take because this is another one I honestly feel a toss up. I hate to admit it. This one I'm having a hard time picking the team. Who you've got for Eagles in Tampa? It's in
I
Tampa.
think I might be wrong about this, but I am going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking Tampa then.
Yep.
Give me Tampa Bay. I don't like taking it, and I feel crazy saying it, but it's just the Eagles aren't looking good. They lost their offensive coordinator. They're just not the same team as last year. I think they're still going to make it to the playoffs. I think they're going to go on a run. But Baker's got the weapons. He's got a coach that believes in him. And so I had a hard time taking either team. So I was like, I'm going to go opposite of you. So
Okay. I like it.
break it up. All right. And now we got our favorite team, the Los Angeles Rams, going to Cincinnati.
I'm going to circle back real quick.
Yeah,
I want to give you your props because I think you were kind of in on the Bears being bad, and I was telling you in the preseason, no, Justin Fields is a human weapon. This is going to be. I was like, they're winning 6-7 games, no problem. They look disastrous.
They do. they shouldn't have traded down from that first overall pick.
No, they look disastrous, but. We'll get to the game of the hour, the game of the week, as far as we're concerned, right?
Yeah,
the
Monday night.
I did hear they're doing 2 Monday night games. I saw a CNN headline that basically said they're doing 2 Monday night games because of this writer's strike. These networks don't have any shows to put on that are going to draw the ratings they're looking for, so they're just putting football games.
I wasn't sure why they were doing it. I know last year they did it for week 1. This year they did it for weeks 2 and 3. So, and then starting next week, I think it's 3 straight weeks with at least one international game. So there will be a 9:30 games. Well, 9:30
which
Eastern
that'll be
time.
fun. That's fun.
This one opened up at Rams plus 6.5. I actually texted you. I'm not one
to
jump on lines. Yeah, I have money on Rams plus 6.5. As of right now, it's plus 2.5. So heavy swing towards the Rams favorite.
You were 1,000% on that one, my friend.
Yeah, I can't believe that. So I'm taking the Rams to win this one.
I guess the dramatic swing is because Joe Burrow might not play. I'm not sure, though. And the other reason is the Rams have looked through 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they've looked like a top half team. I do. I'm not saying they can beat that, but I think they've looked good. So, yeah, I'm going to actually take the Rams on this one.
Okay. Yeah, so we only disagree on 4 games this week, which was Indy. You have Indy. I have Baltimore. I have Tennessee. You have Cleveland and Vegas, Pittsburgh, and then I can't believe I'm saying it. I think we kind of glossed over. I can't believe I'm taking Tampa. It's just a Baker Mayfield. I think your roommate convinced me. He's a good quarterback.
My roommate will do that. Hey, I enjoy Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay. I just still think the Eagles are a better team, but I think the Buccaneers are kind of like they might even be better than the Rams, actually. But they're kind of doing what the Rams are doing. They were kind of written off, and they've looked good. And I think this Bengals-Rams game, going all the way back to our Rams projections for the season, I want to say that we both picked the Rams over Cincinnati anyways.
I know. I was like, I can see the Rams. I mean, I picked the Rams to win, and then I was like, in being realistic, they'll probably start 0-3. But
right,
and I picked the Rams. I didn't get them on the show, but I put money on the Rams over 6.5 wins. So this will help them out tremendously. They still have 2 matchups against the Cardinals. I could see them winning those. So I'm happy. I'm happy for them. So
So far, my Rams, it's only 2 games in, but I picked them to beat Seattle and I picked them to lose to Frisco.
Hmm.
So far, I am on track. So we'll see if it stays that way Monday night.
So I know those are the games of the week. We'll go back to us here. Before the season started, we did our preseason player props. I don't know if you remember who you picked. I kind of wrote down what you said. We'll start with MVP. You have Mahomes. I took Hurts. I know it's only 2 weeks in. Do you think any changes MVP, or what are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, or no, I don't know. Have we seen an MVP caliber
I
candidate
mean,
yet?
Tua's a favorite right now.
Yeah, that's a good call. Good call, SamMeeBee. I agree. 2-0 right now. Yep.
And that's kind of like the next person, offensive player of the year. You kind of gave two answers. You said Jefferson or Hill. I said Olave. I mean, it's still too early. I kind of might take Hill because of what he's doing.
Mhm.
I'm kind of thinking if McCaffrey stays healthy, I think he can do it. So I'm thinking
Absolutely.
McCaffrey.
That's a really good call too. I wouldn't have thought of him. I would say that right now Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson are doing really good things.
You said for defensive player of the year, you said Max Crosby. So hoping you might want to change that answer.
Well,
It is early. It's just fun, kind of going over this every couple weeks, maybe.
maybe I should have said TJ Watt
That's who I
or
said, and I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing my answer for TJ Watt.
maybe Nick Bosa, Chris
Yeah,
Jones.
yeah. Then I mean, we're just gonna fly through these here. We're gonna jump to defensive player of the year. I mean, no one's really standing out there. Noah, we took the two favorites. You took Carter. I took Anderson. Carter from Houston. Anderson from Philly. Oh no, other way around. Anderson from Houston. Carter from Philly. No one's really standing out that I know of for
Defensive rookie
defensive
of the
player of the year.
year.
Yeah.
You know, tooting the Rams horn, but that Kobe Turner, I think, has a sack and a half. So, I don't, not bad.
I wonder where he's at. He's way down the list. I don't even
If
see
I'm
his
wrong,
name.
I'm wrong. I might be thinking of somebody else, but I think Kobe Turner has like a sack or sack and a half, which, 2 games into the season, that's not bad.
All right, and then I want to finish with the offensive player of the year. This one was interesting. You said Bijan. I said how historically it never goes to the favorite. Very rarely, I should say, does it go to the favorite. And Bijan was the favorite, still is. I had Jameer Gibbs. Right now, the top three goes Robinson, Anthony Richardson, and then Puka Nakua.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if we can keep it up because it's a long season and Cup's going to come back. I'm looking at the fourth favorite, Zay Flowers. I'm kind of liking that.
I like that too. I don't dislike that, but I think right now, from what I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
it probably would be Bijan Robinson. And I say because, like right now, Puka Nakua is on pace for like 200 receptions. There's no way this is sustainable. But if somehow it is, then I guess Puka will be offensive rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see. Obviously, hope everyone stays healthy and we can see what it is. So, I mean, it's
Right.
only week 2, so we'll see in a couple weeks who stands out and where we're looking.
Your health is the big thing, I think, for all those players that you just named: Zay Flowers, Bijan Robinson, Puka Nakua, and Jameer Gibbs. If they stay healthy, I expect them to have big time games. But on a consistency basis, I guess right now it's looking between Bijan Robinson or Puka Nakua. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm liking Bijan. Did you see that highlight? It was like an overhead shot, and I think it was tracking his head movements or whatever.
Oh wow, no, I didn't see
I'll
that.
send you the link. It's really good. I had to
Okay.
watch like 4 or 5
I'm
times. So,
I I'm telling you out there, and everybody can disagree with me. Tell me that I'm wrong. I'm not a film buff. He looks like Todd Gurley to me. He looks great.
what number did Todd Gurley wear with
30.
30? Oh, I thought he was there when they were able to wear single digits, but that's all right. So, all
I
right.
should really have the play to clip, but there was a run that he had, and
Hmm.
I was just like, oh my gosh, it's Todd.
I mean, yeah, Atlanta,
In a
Georgia
good way.
boys. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, that was I mean, I'm good to go. You have any other takes you want to close out with us? Oh, you started telling me about a Seattle player. Do you want to talk about that?
I don't know if it's appropriate for our family listeners, but there's a Reddit article about Tyler Lockett. Somebody's compiling data. I believe I haven't read the whole thing yet, but it looks like he's compiling data basically before Tyler Lockett was married, after Tyler Lockett was married. And folks can fill in the blanks, I guess, is what I'll say. But I'll be curious to see how his stats are after being married or before being married. But it's a Reddit article. I'm sure it can be easily Googled. Maybe I'll have a little bit more information next episode, next session when I actually read it, which I'll try to do. But no, this was a lot of fun, Sammy B. Thank you for having me. Go Rams. I'm excited. I'm really hoping that they can be 2-1 after Monday night. And I was thinking too, maybe you and I, maybe we'll try to start having hot takes, whether we're right or wrong. Maybe we'll just take a stance on something, try to get some short video, because the people need to know we
Yeah.
got great content. We're a good time. We're having fun. I think shorts are the way to attract the modern audience. So we might have to start kind of systematically doing that. But for now, we're having a good time, and I guess that's what's most important.
Yeah, I think when we started the channel, I wanted to look into like giving out some betting advice. That's what I like doing, and I know we've been
Yeah.
looking just at money lines. I haven't talked about player props. That's usually what I have to hammer home. So I should have looked one up to give one out today, but I think it's something when I start going after. I know I put our Twitters up. I'll put them back up now. You can always follow us there. I think Dan has his articles for Turf Show Times, and I got some of my picks I like to give out. So I think that will be something we look at too, is some player props we're thinking. So
Sure.
do you think Puka gets his first touchdown on Monday night? Tough. I mean, what I'm excited for, I know it's not till Monday, is if you're not a Rams fan, you're probably not watching them at all, and so you don't even know much about this Puka guy. Just he's scoring a lot of number 2 fantasy receiver right now.
Right.
So I'm excited
He's
to see
looked
people watch him.
good.
Yeah.
Stafford's looked good. Like, that's the thing. They've looked good. To answer your question about a Puka touchdown, I don't know, but I'm starting Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams in some fantasy leagues. So I'm hoping their good luck continues, man. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, no. So so this was week 3 NFL matchups. We'll probably do a recap video next week, and like I said, every Wednesday you'll find us going over next week's picks. Like I said, next Monday we'll have new doodles from Corn Doggies. Look forward to it. This was Sammy B and Danny Stone from Gem City Sports.
Thank you. Has Stafford thrown a passing touchdown yet?
I don't know. Are they all rushing touchdowns?
I think they are. No, he threw one passing one to Kyron. But he hasn't thrown a touchdown to a receiver or a tight end yet, I don't think.
I know Higbee's my fantasy team. He doesn't have it.
So. I know you wanted to close, but I was thinking about your question. Is Puka going to catch a if he does, it would be the first game that Stafford throws a touchdown to somebody that isn't a running back. I think Kyron has like 4 out of their 5 touchdowns.
Maybe a jet sweep, and it's one of those things where Stafford gets in, tops it forward.
I like that. All right. Well, I won't keep you. I appreciated the send-off, but just food for thought. I mean, Stafford is probably due for some passing touchdowns, huh?
Yeah, like I said, I think what we like to do, we're going to reconvene with maybe Monday, do a recap from Sunday nights and go over the Monday night game. So we'll see time-wise how that works. So go ahead, Dan, give us a one love shout-out, and we'll call it a day.
Hey, good to see everybody. Have a great and safe night. One love.
One love.